But first, a North Idaho family says that their mother fell into a romance scam and the scammers took as much as they possibly can, her money, her dignity, ultimately her life. KHQ's North Idaho reporter John Webb spoke with 2 daughters and a granddaughter today. Joins us now live. John?
Yeah, good evening, Steph. 70-year-old Diane Webb had been single for about 40 years. Her granddaughter thought a dating app might help her find a spouse, but that's until she fell in love with a guy named Michael.
I actually went with her on one because she was scared to go, and seemed like it was working, and then it wasn't real quick.
Diane had fallen for Michael, and within 3 years of talking, her family says he would ask her for money for different reasons. He even told her that he would fly in to visit her.
On the day he was supposed to show up, he would tell her, "I am at the airport, but I don't have money to get to you. Can you just give me a little so I can..." And he was in Africa the whole time.
Michael, they say, would try to convince Diane that her family didn't value her as much as he did. Eventually, Diane gave up everything, selling her home, turning her back on her family, all for a man her family says never existed.
I was angry and bitter and mad that my grandma would choose this man over her granddaughter, her family, her daughters, my children.
Her daughters say Diane planned a trip to visit Michael in Nigeria back in March. It was supposed to be a 3-month stay. She'd be back home in June, but it ended up being much longer than anyone could have ever imagined.
And I cannot imagine the horror on my mom's face when she got off that plane in Nigeria and found right away that he was not who he said he was.
The daughters say her mother didn't find love. She found captivity, held in a warehouse in Nugu, where she was only given potatoes and beer. But the trauma didn't stop there.
She said that the abuse by several men and this one that she was talking to started right away. Physical abuse, mental abuse, all of it.
Diane managed to call her daughters over a phone from Nigeria.
You can't call my phone because it's smashed. So forget about that. I hope everything's okay there. Don't call back on this number because I won't answer.
According to her family, Diane became close with one of the guardsmen who would later become her ticket back to the U.S.
He felt bad for my mom being 70 and as sick as she was. He told her, "I'm getting you a ticket and sending you home."
July 9th, just after midnight, Spokane Airport security called the family and told them that Diane was back home. And unfortunately, the family tells me that this whole ordeal was just too hard on Diane. She passed away at a local hospital due to malnutrition. I contacted the FBI today to see if they were investigating, but they said that they could not comment. Steph?
Wow, very, very horrible story. This is unfortunate. These romance scams are happening at an all-time high, John.
Yes, Steph, the FBI says these types of scams have quadrupled since 2017. They say in 2021 alone, $956 million was stolen because of crimes like these. In Idaho, $1.9 million was taken. Meanwhile, in Washington, close to $31.9 million was lost because of confidence and romance fraud. Live in Coeur d'Alene tonight, John Webb, KHQ Local News.
All right, John, thank you. And John couldn't be more right.